are concerned. To weigh in on that, we are now joined by Abhishek Gowarikar, who's the head of AgriBigMint, who's now joining us. Hello, Abhishek, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. Abhishek, tell us now, with US import duties on Indian rice that has now been reduced from a 50% to an 18%, how significantly does this improve India's price competitiveness versus, say, Thailand and Pakistan that have a duty of 19% on them?
Hi, good afternoon. I think this possible duty reduction in case of rice is going to be a big boost in support of Indian export, particularly for the basmati rice. US predominantly is a basmati rice consumer from Indian point of view, and India faces significant competition from other countries like Pakistan, which also has basmati, and Thailand, which also has other fragrant rice varieties, which are competing with basmati in that particular market. So I think this duty reduction is definitely going to help Indian exporters to get even higher market share of US markets.
Right. Mr. Gowarikar, Indian rice shipments to the US have remained resilient even during the high duty phase. Do you expect a faster pickup in volumes now that the tariff parity has been restored?
No, I think one of the reason why our export continued was mainly because there was a lot of stickiness for the Indian basmati rice from the Indian population, which is there in US. And also because a lot of exporters have reduced their own individual margins in order to push or in order to make the sales to US market. Now with this duty reduction, I think our exporters will again be more competitive, as well as will be able to enjoy a better margins. And also some higher increase in the market share is also anticipated in the US market, as our prices will be more competitive to Pakistan directly for the basmati in US markets.
Right. Also, which segments then of basmati and non-basmati rice are likely to benefit the most from these tariff cuts, and why?
US imports roughly close to around 2.5 to 3 lakh metric tons of rice every year, and most of it is in basmati form. Almost 80% of this is in basmati form, while non-basmati constitutes only 20%. But going forward, because Indian non-basmati is already very competitive in terms of rates in the global terms, I think there could be some possibility to increase the share for non-basmati rice exports to US also. Basmati will continue to dominate because a lot of Indian population, as well as the population from Southeast Asia, is preferring basmati as the premium rice in US market, while the other non-basmati variants could also fetch desired momentum, as well as desired interest based on the cheaper prices that we can offer.
Okay. And can this tariff really reset help India not only regain but also expand its share in the US rice market in 2026?
Yes, definitely. See, India is already having a lot of marketable surplus in its hand. Also, the current crop that we have just harvested is also one of the largest in last 3 4 years. So India has definitely have a lot of marketable surplus, which they can push to various international countries in order to gain the market share, as well as gain the for forex for Indian government. So in that sense, yes, definitely this duty reduction is going to help the exports, as well as going to see a much more better price competitiveness for Indian rice in global markets.
Right. Finally, Mr. Gowarikar, with record rice production estimated at around 149 odd million tons, how well positioned are Indian exporters to meet the higher US demand now?
See, as I mentioned, this year the government has expected around 151 million tons. Trade is expecting slightly lower, around 149, 150 million tons. But that itself is covering the domestic demand, and we have a lot of marketable surplus in our hand. So that gives us good momentum, as well as good opportunity to increase our export in the global rice markets, and we have adequate supplies over and above what we consume domestically. And I think Indian exporters can really go out to all the major
All right. Thank you so much for joining us and weighing in on the rice demand and how it's going to pan out post the cut in the duties. But let's